special meeting, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll do that on, that's
Well,
Tuesday.
I saw some lady right there that said, "Did you get your head?" And my wife, she was gonna run for it.
Was she
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Oh my God, that is like beautiful timing on her part.
Need some water, John? A bottle of water? Sure. Okay.
All right, well, in order.
Okay, roll call, John Bank,
Yeah.
Jennifer Cook,
Yes.
Laura Dufresne, absent. Renee Kitzman,
Here.
Ray Smith,
Here.
Susan Wells, here. Robert Zirkle,
Here.
and the librarian. Here.
Here.
Okay.
All right, need a motion to approve the agenda for this.
I make the motion to accept the agenda.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote on accepting the agenda. Jennifer Cook,
Yes.
Laura Dufresne, absent. Robert Zirkle,
Yes.
Renee Kitzman,
Yes.
Ray Smith,
Yes.
Susan Wells, yes.
Go on the secretary's report.
Okay. The May 14th meeting was called to order by President John Bank with 6 members and librarian in attendance. Ray motioned and Lori seconded to approve the agenda for this meeting. Roll call vote was taken. Motion was carried. Secretary's report, minutes from the April meeting were read with a correction being that Kim Heft is replacing Gloria McGehee and not Tara Heisner. Jennifer motioned and Renee seconded to approve the minutes as corrected. Roll call vote was taken. Motion was carried. Correspondence report. Doris Hubner is responding that she is no longer has to provide the board with any statements in regards to OMA. Lawyer George Cuanzo stated it is not a common practice to do this. Only questions are asked in board responses, or if it is an actual letter to the board is given. Library patron Kathy Ebert came in support of the library, of which she stated we have a very nice building and appreciates everything that the employees and the board do for the community. Another library patron, Pete Wells, questioned the board and attorney as to why taxpayers are spending money on an attorney for ridiculous accusations. The president's report, adjournment time is set for 8 p.m. Treasurer's report was given. We have beginning balance was $68,804.22. We had receipts of $229.95, expenditures of $13,661, with an ending balance of $55,383.95. We had interest earned of $10.78 and $1.66 on the MBA. The librarian's report. Let's see, we have on the treasurer's report. Robert motioned and Renee seconded to approve the treasurer's report and bills paid. Roll call vote was taken. Motion was carried. Librarian report. Vicki made her monthly report to the board. 2 grants have been applied for. The Mary Helen Roberts and Lavanya Young Trust. Also, the library will be receiving money from the per capita grant. She also stated that the elected trustees will be sworn in at the June 11th meeting. We have a total of 1,019 patrons. We had fines of $143.70. We had donations of $30. We had other fees of $56.25. We had expenses, of $32, and we had a total deposit of $229.95. We had committee report. A new policy was adapted for the library. The doors to the library will open to the public 10 minutes before the stated time of the meeting. Rini motioned and Jennifer seconded the new policy. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. We had no old business. New business, a vote to amend the bylaws for public entrance to the buildings was voted on in committee reports. John asked for a motion to close the meeting. Ray motioned and Robert seconded. Roll call vote was taken. Motion was carried. Next meeting will be June 11th, 2019. Respectfully submitted, Susan Wells, Secretary.
Need a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Okay, roll call vote on approving the minutes. Jennifer Cook,
Yes.
Margaret Frame absent, Robert Zirkle,
Yes.
Rini Kitzman,
Yes.
Ray Smith,
Yes.
and Susan Wells, yes.
Adjournment time will be by 7:45, I hope. All right, who's going to be the first to speak?
I can speak. I'm John Kraft. First things, thanks for putting the agenda the way the law requires for 48 consecutive hours and continuous hours prior to a meeting where the public can read it. I would hope that you can do that to your future committee meetings also, because it's required of those. The next thing is the act that this library is governed by is the Public Library District Act of 1991. The Public Library District Act does not provide for any removal of a trustee except under certain conditions, and I'll get to those in a minute. There's also another rule called Dillon's Rule for non-home rule units of local government, which this is a non-home rule unit of local government. It's a special district, but it's still non-home rule. And the basic premise of Dillon's Rule is if you only have the power granted in the statute by the legislature and the Constitution. If you're not granted the power, you don't have it. If it's silent, that is not power that is granted. So when it's silent on removal of a trustee, you do not have that power. The only place in the Library District Act is if a trustee declines, fails, or is unable to serve, becomes a non-resident, is convicted of misdemeanor by failing, neglecting, or refusing to discharge duty, or has failed to pay library taxes levied by the district, or absent without cause from all regular board meetings for a period of 1 year. Then you can declare the seat vacant. Then you can appoint a new board member. Nothing in that act gives anybody the power to remove any board member. And you can't go searching around for a statute like the municipal code or the county's code or the school district code or anything to find any other statute that might grant a power that you don't have. You only have the power granted in that statute. And I wish you guys would acknowledge that. I wish you would acknowledge that this library falls under the Public Library District Act. I wish you would acknowledge that it's not governed by the Local Library Act or the Municipal Code. I wish you would acknowledge that you improperly removed the trustee, Hubner, in violation of the Public Library District Act. I wish you would acknowledge that you destroyed public records by destroying audio tapes without proper approval. And I wish you would issue a written apology approved at the meeting to former trustee Hubner for improperly removing her from office. And I wish you would acknowledge in writing that you improperly destroyed those meeting recordings. So I'm asking you to do those things. I believe by now you know it was wrong to remove her as a trustee. If you don't, let me know. We might be able to find another way to address you. I don't know any other way. But here's, if you want to read this, you should have already had this in email before.
Thank you for your
I
comment.
sent it out, there were several routes of emails back and forth. This is the last email I sent and nobody answered. So, that's it. Thanks for the opportunity to talk.
Thank you.
You,
Someone else wants
You want to talk?
I'm not sure who the chairman is.
to.
Want to
John,
have the floor to talk?
he has, yeah.
All right. My name's Kirk Allen. I don't know who the officials are that are going to be sworn in. It has on the agenda swearing in of elected board trustees. Are there people here that were not on the board before the election?
They're all being,
Basically, everybody was already on the board, so there's not a newcomer per se. Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I would just like to say, I would just like to say that at the last meeting, I thought that I had made it clear, and in talking with George and the things he said, is that I do not have to provide written copies of my comments to the board. The comments I have are not asking you questions that I expect some answer from. So I stated then that I would not give copies anymore. I have done it in the past, but I'm not required to, so I will not. But it's still on your agenda today, like it doesn't exist.
Now, since you mentioned mine and what I had to say about that, I was referring into, for instance, correspondence. Like if there is a letter written or something like that, in order to incorporate it into the minutes, they would just incorporate it into the minutes.
But you also said, if I have, you're talking about yourself, you said, if I have comments to make, I can write them down, or I can verbally say them without. And for that, there are no written notes to the secretary.
Right, but I think
That's
that,
what my situation
well,
is.
my recollection is that the question that was presented actually had to do with a letter that was read
That
in
was just
a
the
copy.
director bringing that up.
Okay, no, I'm just telling you that and that is what I based my advice upon. That's what I based my advice upon. I mean, of course, no, we don't, I mean, there are some boards that want comments to be written, but that has not been a measure or done by this board. Some boards do try to get that. As I said, I'm not aware that that's been measured by this board. The question that was presented at the last meeting actually had to do with correspondence, from my understanding, that was read, and then the copy was destroyed. There was a letter from someone else, apparently, is what I understood. And my advice was, if somebody wants a correspondence incorporated into the minutes, then it makes sense to have a copy of that correspondence, that's all.
I understand that.
And that was the scope of my advice. And the only reason I'm interjecting here is my name was mentioned on
Well,
that.
right, but it's still saying just written comments that he's given to the secretary. Like I did tonight, I don't have to give notes. So I think that's something that needs to be amended.
OMA doesn't require it. OMA doesn't require it.
Right.
Looks like.
That's all I have, yeah.
Okay. Well, I have nothing here, but
All right, we'll do the treasurer's report.
Previous balance was $55,383.95. Checks and payments was $7,239.42. Deposits, $2,119.06. Ending balance, bank statement, $50,263.59.
can
Check.
you repeat that again, the final?
Okay, $50,263.59.
And the receipts that you have,
Receipts,
2019,
2019-06.
06, thank you.
Clearing balance of $50,263.59. 4 items, checks and payments, $437.15. Checks and payments, registered balance, $49,826.44. Ending balance, $49,826.44. Interest, $1.61. The bills, Vicky, $675.37. Kim, $67.34. Tyra, $302.85. Christina, $223.52. Petty cash, $44.15. Sarah, $87.40. Nicor gas, $27.04. Ameren, $126.12. Village of Onarga, $51.70. Harkins Landscaping, $200. McCann Plumbing, $209.11. Demco, $130.52. And Illinois Library Association, $85. Illinois 501, $187.24. Federal, $791.82.
What is, Karen?
Also, the back door was leaking from where the master letters and
Oh.
so they had to replace it.
Yikes.
Yeah, and then all the water went everywhere.
Need a motion to approve the treasurer's report and pay the bill.
I'll make the motion.
A second. Roll call vote for the approval of the treasurer's report and bills paid. Jennifer Cook,
Yes.
Robert Zirkle,
Yes.
Rini Kitzman,
Yes.
Ray Smith,
Yes.
and Susan Wells, yes.
Librarian report.
We have 121 new items this month, 3 new cards for a total of 1,022 new patrons, or total patrons.
Can't hear you.
Items,
Sorry, could you speak up, please?
Can't hear you.
1,022 patrons now with 3 new cards. We have donations this month of $100. Fines were $71.08, other fees of $42 for a total.
I can hear you, I'm
Of
sorry, the way
200.
back we are, I can't even hear it. So is there any way you can speak a little louder?
$240.07. Replacement tax of $1,869.98 for a total deposit of $2,110.05. So we have summer reading. I've received now a total of 3 donations towards summer reading for the kids. We had 2 at the time I did the agenda, but a third one came in, so.
What are the donations?
Money towards where they went to the movie last year. I have had both banks and Country Finance from Gilman donated again like last year, so we can send them to the movies for their ending program when they finish.
So we're going to have another active children's program,
Yeah, it starts
which
next.
is what we're here for, that we
Yes,
can spend some
totally.
time discussing summer reading.
Yes, yes.
And that is important because children need to have access.
Yes.
And we can spend time getting donations.
We've been,
Do you need any further donations?
at this time, no. We've been decorating downstairs, and program starts next week, and I have 15 signed up and more forms to come back. So we usually get about 25, 30 kids
That's
signed
nice
up.
to know.
Yeah.
And we also, if I may add,
Yes, Mara.
for the summer reading program, we also are gonna have the comfort dog from the LCC, Mala the comfort dog, who has traveled all over the United States when there's been tragedies. She went to Las Vegas for the shooting, she was at Parkland, Florida, and she goes around all the time. She's gonna be here 2 days too,
Yeah.
for the reading.
Because kids enjoy reading to a dog, and since Gloria's moving, we lost that dog, so we have Mala this year.
She does have a website if anybody wants to follow her.
Okay, so I'm finished with that part, so. Ready for me.
Flora ain't gonna be here, and we'll have to call a special meeting for next Tuesday. To swear everybody in.
I didn't hear that, John, I'm sorry. What? I couldn't hear
I said we're gonna have to call a special meeting, swear in new board members.
you. Okay. Okay.
So it's about June 18th.
What time?
7 o'clock.
Would you like to come to the swearing in?
I
And
don't
you could
think
do
I-
the swearing in?
I don't think I need to.
The forms are all filled out.
I know, but the
Just read 'em.
secretary can do the swearing in. The statute.
I've done it
permits
quite a few years, so,
Yes.
okay. Just
But
asking.
thank you, thank you.
What time was that meeting for swearing in?
7.
7.
What's this non-residency?
You just have to vote to continue doing the non-resident taxpayer. If someone comes in that's not a resident, it's 0.32% of their assessed value on their taxes, the way we've been doing it. You just have to vote again to continue doing that, or it's 15% of their monthly rent if they are someone outside in the country that, so you just have to vote to continue doing non-resident fee formula the way we've been doing it, and I have a copy of this for Susan for showing the way we're doing it. If you guys need to look at it, pass it around.
Has there been any
Actually,
I
problem?
can't hear.
no,
I know, I can't hear you.
No.
You're talking too low, no one can hear over here.
no, we've not had any problems. We just have to vote on it every year to continue doing it this way.
Ma'am, the one black here, is there a reason why you can't speak up so we can hear?
Well, I don't
It
like
is
to
a public
scream.
meeting, so, and you put the chairs back here, so So I'm just trying to hear unless you want us to go closer to you so we can hear what you're saying. No? Okay, then can you just speak up so we can understand what you're saying?
They're voting for a non-resident fee.
They're voting for non-residents.
Yes, they continue their non-resident fee the way it is every year, that you pay a percentage of your assessed valuation if you lived outside the district.
Every library district has a non-resident fee, which is for people who live in the country and on their tax bill are not in a town that has a library. There's a lot of people in the country that don't, and they have to pay
Yes.
X amount of dollars to join a library.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we just have that,
Thank you.
yeah.
We need a motion, John.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we accept it. The same.
I'll say.
And we're using the 0.32%.
0.32,
Okay.
Yeah, unless it's, they pay rent, then it's 15% of their monthly rent.
Is 32/100% of assessed value, is that the library tax rate for the village of Onarga?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay, that's, I understand.
Some libraries just set a, like, everybody pays, like, LODA pays, you pay $70 a year no matter what. Some
And
of
there
them
are
think-
some that charge like 125,
Yeah,
150.
some of them set it even no
That's a
matter
lot
what.
higher.
And then some of them say that's not fair because others could pay higher, or some should pay lower because of their assessed value. So we forever, I think, have done it this way, so that it's by their
This is for
assessed
my
value.
minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call vote on accepting the non-resident fee of 0.32%. Jennifer Cook,
Yes.
Robert Zirkle,
Yes.
Rini Kitzman,
Yes.
Ray Smith,
Yes.
Susan Wells, yes.
Need a motion to approve the prevailing wage act.
The act has changed this year that you do not have to put it in the paper is what the email they sent, and you do not have to file it with the courthouse, you just continue.
There's been a change
Pay
in,
it.
yeah, there's been a change in the law, and public bodies no longer, the prevailing wage act will be placed on the county's website, on a public website. So the public bodies no longer have to adopt it because it's deemed to be adopted by the virtue of it being a state statute.
So I have an email if Susan wants that for her minutes also.
And then the rates are supposed to be released every year and put on a website. Last year, I think they were late and you had to calculate them out yourself according to some index, but that's the way it's supposed to work.
They have been late. They were late 2 years ago,
Yeah.
too.
But that said, and when anything is put out for bid,
Mhm.
or any agreements need to state that we abide by the Prevailing Wage Act and that the amounts paid by the contractors have to be in compliance with the Prevailing Wage Act. So that burden is still on the board.
Mhm.
So it took effect as of June 1st.
Yeah, that we.
There's going to be some more changes in 2020, but that haven't taken effect yet. But right now, that's where we are.
I make a motion, we accept the Prevailing Wage Act changes.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote on the Prevailing Wage Act. Jennifer Cook,
Yes.
Robert Zirkle,
Yes.
Rini Kitzman,
Yes.
Ray Smith,
Yes.
and Susan Wells, yes.
just vote on a donation for Mala to come to summer reading, they make a donation to the library, so you guys just need to agree upon the set amount you want to donate for her to come.
What is the standard donation for this dog?
People just give whatever they feel because those donations go to her ministry and it helps for traveling expenses, traveling expenses and everything.
She'll be here 2 days.
You know, it just,
I have
it's
no
by
idea.
donations.
So I mean, we talking 50, 100?
Well, since she's going to be here 2
2
days, I feel myself, personally, that I don't think $125 is too much.
Does she come with,
She
typically
has
she comes
handlers.
with Officer Legan, right, from the.
There
Calvary
is
Club?
many people.
Yeah.
My sister and brother, actually, she lives at my sister's house.
Oh, does she?
And she's the one that's gonna be bringing her, but yes, Officer Legan, there's many, I don't know how many there are, but like I said, coming 2 days,
We've had her come to court when we've had kids in camera sessions, and
Yes.
typically it was Officer Legan.
Yeah.
and when she goes to the VA, she usually is a veteran that they've had that lives in Milford, so it's, yes. Like I said, that's just my suggestion. I don't think that's too much.
Well, you need to make a motion.
Yeah, you have to make a motion for the amount, and just vote on it.
I make a motion that we give $125 to Mala the Comfort Dog for her ministry for coming to spend time in our summer reading.
I'll second
It may bring kids that don't normally come, won't
Well,
it?
they all love to read to whatever, we've had 3 different dogs over the years, so they all love to read to a dog, so.
Again.
And they
be
get
nice for
credit
the
for
kids.
reading when they read to the dog.
Right.
Okay, roll call vote on a $125 donation to the Mala ministry. Jennifer Cook,
Yes.
Robert Zirkle,
it. Yes.
Rini Kitzman,
Yes.
Ray Smith,
Yes.
and Susan Wells, yes. Thank you. And she will also have all the necessary paperwork
Yeah.
as far as showing it, you know, her vet records and insurance and all this.
Yeah.
She will have all that.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thor.
Thank you.
Roll call vote on closing the meeting. Jennifer Cook?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Robert Zirkle?